Hello, SPED 2010 students. Well, I can't believe it. It is the last week of school. Next week is finals week. So this week we're going to finish out our last week in Module 4, which is week 14. And this week we're going to be learning about explicit instruction. Before we get into the content for the very last week, I kind of wanted to go over a few things. And I will be sending a separate email video out talking about this just because I want to make sure that everyone gets things accomplished. But if you look at the table of contents underneath Module 4, Week 14, you're going to see something called Post-Test In-Course Feedback. Okay, so when you click on it, it is just giving you a section that you need to complete as part of the end of this course. So if you remember back in the beginning, the very first week of school, I had you take a test called a pre-test. Well, this is just data that I gather for my course just to see how well you do. So the pre-test, as I told you, didn't really count. It's just for me to see what you know, your background knowledge of special education. The post-test is to see how much you've learned. So the post and pre-tests are the same exact test. They're the same questions. It's just to see how much you've learned over the course of the semester. Okay, so it doesn't count for a grade. But it does allow me to see what you know and what you've learned. So if you look here, the post-test will open on the 24th, which is Monday. So while you're watching this, it probably is already open. So it opens on the 24th on Monday at 8 o'clock, and it will close Friday, April 28th at 11:59. So you have all week to complete it, so make sure that you do that. It's a requirement. The next thing that you also have to complete that will close April 28th, which is on Friday at 11:59, is the course feedback. Okay, so this also gives me information. This allows me to see what you like, so what were the positives of this class, and maybe what were some negatives, right? So this allows me to keep making the course better and better for future students. So it lets me see what you really liked, what was really good about the class, and maybe some things that you think could be better. So if you say there's something that you didn't like or you found a problem and you identify it, I would like for you to give me a possible solution, right? So maybe some thoughts on how it could be better and elaborate. Okay, so be honest in your feedback. This does not affect your grade. This just helps me improve the course and for the future students. So just go ahead and answer that as well. So that will stay open all this week, and you have until the last day of classes, which is Friday 28th, and it'll close at 11:59. So both of these need to be completed. Okay. So that is just something that I wanted to point out to you. So let's go back to Module 4, Week 14. Another thing you'll see is I went ahead and put it here for you as well, right? I put it in Week 14, so it's in two places. The next thing I want to point out is I put the Quiz 3 final exam review. So if you'll notice, final exam is going to be our third quiz. It's going to be over our last module. So there's not going to be a comprehensive exam. So it's not cumulative over every single thing we've ever learned. It's only going to be over our last module. So you'll see that Quiz 3 or final opens next week during finals week. It'll open May 1st, which is a Monday. So next Monday, May the 1st at 8 a.m. and it will close on Wednesday, May 3rd at 11:59. So I gave you a window of opportunity to take it. Finals is a little bit different than other tests in the course. Finals has a certain schedule that we abide by, okay, made up by the college. So it's imperative that you stick to this window. If I say that it's due May 3rd at 11:59, it's due May 3rd at 11:59 because that's the window of opportunity you have to take that final. Okay, so this will count as your final exam, so you need to make sure that you have it done by that date. So you will have 3 days to complete it, 3 full days. So that should be enough time for you to take the final. I did put the exam review there. It's not going to be 2 attempts, it's one time to take the exam, so you do not have a second attempt. You'll just have that one time since it's your finals. So that will open May 1st, and I will send you an email video out reminding you about it, but make sure that you use the study guide to help you study for your exam. So I just wanted to point that out before I got started in week 14. And all this can be found under week 14, and like I mentioned, I went ahead and posted a separate section here for you for post-test and course feedback, so you can access it in either one. So this week, we are working on explicit instruction, okay? So our goal this week, our learning objective, is to look at instructional tools and strategies based on different student needs and characteristics. We're going to be looking at research-based strategies and be able to identify those, okay, and discuss the advantages of these different types of tools. So we're going to be looking at explicit instruction as a strategy. That's going to help us meet our 2 outcomes for the course outcomes here at the top. So we're going to be looking at the current practices with explicit instruction and how it's going to meet those needs of the exceptional learners. I put this up here just to remind you, you should have been already through this, but if you haven't watched all the co-teaching presentations, I would like you to go back and make sure you comment on the discussion board because that was part of your assignment for week 12. So you have some learning activities which we'll go over a little bit further. You're going to be looking at a video that introduces explicit instruction. You're going to be looking at an article that you will be reading. So you won't be reading from your textbook. Your reading this week is going to be an article. You're also going to have an activity. So you'll watch a video and you're going to complete a discussion board on explicit instruction as well. And then of course I put your quiz 3 study guide. You will, for assignments, complete that discussion board that goes along with the explicit instruction video. You will complete the post-test and the course feedback. Okay, so all of this will be due Friday, April 28th, 11:59 p.m. Now, normally I give you until Sunday, but because last day of spring classes is Friday, the post-test, the course feedback, and your explicit instruction discussion board all have to be completed by Friday, 11:59. Okay, so it won't be extended to Sunday due to the fact that classes ends on Friday. How am I going to assess you this week? Well, this week, you, of course, are going to be doing the explicit instruction activity and discussion board, right? So that will be your assessment for this week. You also need to look at your study guide, and that will help you with final exam next week. Just to reiterate, the final exam's not comprehensive over everything. It's just going to be over our last module or our unit. I put some key terms and concepts here, so we're going to be looking at what modeling is, what is explicit instruction, so we're going to be able to define that. We're going to look at what directed practice is as well as independent practice. So those are the key concepts I want you to take away this week. So next, we're going to look at the video. So there's a video here called Teaching Matters Explicit Instruction. Okay, so this is a video that is going to kind of it's just going to give you an introduction into what explicit instruction is. And I would like you to watch that video. The next thing is the article I told you about. So the article here is talking about how this strategy, explicit instruction, can be used for reading, writing, and math. And this is looking specifically at students who have special needs or with learning disabilities. Okay, so these are exceptional children and how we use this strategy in the actual classroom. So if you'll look here within the article right now, things that jump out at me, which was some of your key terms and concepts, was directed practice, modeling, guided practice, independent practice. So remember, these were the key terms I wanted us to look at. Okay. As an additional resource in the article, there's a video that that kind of shows you how you could actually implement this in the classroom. So you can see that these are elementary students. So please make sure you watch this video that goes along with the article. Okay, I gave you some resources there. You can look at them. The next thing I want to go over is going to be your actual activity. Okay, so you can find it by clicking on week 14 and going all the way down to where it says assignments. When you click on it, you're going to see a video here. Now, if you remember when we were talking about high leverage practices and what that was, those are research practices. Well, explicit instruction is a high leverage research-based practice. So this video is from the Council of Exceptional Children, and this is talking specifically about this HLP number 16. This video shows you what explicit instruction is, how do you use it in the classroom. So this video is going to let you see that. After you watch the video, you're going to answer this discussion board question. So, like I said, this video is going to give you multiple examples of how to use explicit instruction. So what I want you to think about after you watch the video, think about what examples kind of stood out to you that you feel you could implement the most. Then you're going to give an example of how you would implement this high leverage practice in your own classroom. And then I want you to respond to at least 2 other classmates' discussion posts. Okay, so that will be your assignment for week 14. That's how you're going to be assessed. Remember, it will be due Friday, April 28th this week because that's the last day of classes. Okay, so the video is at the top. Underneath is your discussion board. And then I put the quiz 3 final exam review there. And then I also put the course feedback and post-test. So that's also due April 28th as well. Okay, if you'll look, I put quiz 3 final there, but it's not actually going to start and open until May 1st because that's when finals week start. And I gave you the 3-day window. That is the schedule for your final exam. So just make sure that you realize you only have those 3 days to take it. And as always, if you reach out, you can reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk about anything with you. At this point, everyone should have turned in their service learning project, which was all your paperwork at this time should have been completed a long time ago. You should have your journal in. You should also have your written analysis, which was your paper. All that should be submitted. I'm almost through grading those. By the time you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you probably, unless you've turned it in late, should have gotten your grade back at this point in time. I am working on grading some late work. So if you have late work that you submitted, I'm probably working on that now, and I will get that to you as soon as I can. But at this point, you should kind of have an idea of where you are and what you need to make on the test for your final. But I will send, like I said, a separate video out reminding you about finals this week sometime. So be looking at that. I'll probably send it out through the email, and I might even put it on the course homepage so you'll have it. All right, as always, please feel free to reach out, and I hope you have a great week. And until next time, guys, take care.